Well, this session you join me at the mighty Sandhurst lake. We arrived here yesterday, a group of us, there's 13 in total, and we've got a lake to ourselves. So we had a quick walk around yesterday, did a bit of a draw, and I've got into car park. There was fish in front when I arrived yesterday, so I had a quick let around. There's a little spot, about 18 wraps out, enough for 2 rods. Straight in front, nice and clean, got hard drops. I thought, yeah, that's the one. So I put 2 on that, and I've got a little left-hander just past this bush, which you can see here, and they've got in front of the weed bed. And I have a little bit of a sort of play around there with the pole, and found a little clear area around there. So I've spooned it out, dropped that presentation, but I'm fishing really slack line, so it's dead low. See what happens. So yeah, I went into last night really positive. 2:30 I got woken up with the left-hander, a couple of beeps, tight up to the bobbin. Yeah, hit it, got me into weed. Not much of a fight in the weed, if I'm honest. It's sort of a couple of pulls and it was out. Took me down a left-hand margin, then turned, and then obviously it was coming across above me where my other 2 lines were. I was a bit nervous about them being picked up or took out. But unfortunately, yeah, it just hook pulled. So I'm a little bit wounded than that. But you got to take the positives, I suppose. The stuff that I'm doing this session is working. I just need to get one on the bank. So I will go through all them tactics and my bait later on. But just for now, I'll just enjoy the day, and I'll catch up with you later. Right, well, morning guys. Yeah, nothing much to report yesterday after obviously speaking to you last. Sort of reeled them in. There's a lot of like algae and stuff in the water, and obviously with the lines being in for such a long time, there's a lot of like ropes going to the spot. So I thought, wheel him in, rest a swim. My mate Will, he's in the pipe swim around the corner, so went around there, had a couple of beers with him, and then put the rods out just before dark. We did see sort of signs of fish showing in the weed to the left hand side, which is a good sign that the fish obviously were back in the zone. So yeah, I've got the two of the rods on the 18 wrap spot, but it's the margin spot that's done it again. Going off this morning, it's coming at £32, which yeah, I'm absolutely made up. My first ever Sandhurst carp. Hope it's not the last. But yeah, we've got a couple more nights ahead of us. I will go through what I've been catching on the rigs and bait later on. But now I'll flip it around and I'll show you the other side. Like I said, absolutely blown away with this one. It's such a special place, and I've always wanted to get one on the bank. It fought hard. It did take me the other 2 rods out, unfortunately, but I sort of had to nip one per one just to get it under, which I knew was going to be the case anyway because I can't get my lines down. But yeah, I'm absolutely made up. Absolutely made up. Right, let's slip it back in. Right guys, well, so it's my first Sandhurst carp before. I was hoping for another one. I pretty much put that one back, redid them other 2 rods, redid the margin rod again. I was just digging into my breakfast, and it looks like the fish are having theirs. This one's come in at £20.2, black as your hat, put a right good scrap up. Like I say, took them out, my lines out again,
I don't quite know what I'm going to how to deal with that really, because the line lay is not very good. So yeah, but as long as I keep on trying to get them on the bank, and I'll sort of deal with them problems as they occur. But yeah, blown away. So I'll just slip this one back and get the odds back out. Right, well I think that's the mad morning carnage sort of over for a little while, so I thought I'd take this time just to briefly run you through what I've been doing, what the other lads have on the lake, how they've been getting on. So yeah, so like I said yesterday, I found 2 spots. One's 18 wraps out, and it's sort of a clear air. I've got weed to the left and weed to the right. I've seen them fizzing there on the first day, but obviously casting where they were fizzing, they were in the weeds, so I've come obviously slightly off that so I can present the bait, and that's the one that's done the £20 2 this morning. Now the other spot I found is obviously, like I showed before, like the baiting pole out towards like a pole on that far side. I'm sort of aiming towards that direction, and again it's sort of weed, and then it comes into like a hard ground, not very deep, it's about 4 foot, something like that, so it's not very deep water. So yeah, so net out on that one again, I'm just baiting the pooling out. I'm using Pacific tuna crumb, not fine crumb, but bits, you know what I mean, like with your fingers into it. And then I've got the noodle rig on the top, which you've seen in my other diary pieces before. And what they've done this time as well is whittle down the balanced bloodworm wafter that go over the top on this occasion. Yeah, and I just kept it sort of simple. I've been here before, I've tried different things, and you know, I think of twice I've been, and I've not been lucky. Once the lake was fishing quite moody, and nothing came out, to be fair, for probably about 4 weeks. So yeah, it's a head scratch. You know, if the fish are obviously active and showing, then you've got a good chance. You know, the weather's been a bit hit and miss recently. Obviously coming up to this, it was scorching hot weather. We've been a bit fortunate that the rain did come in prior to, so maybe that's just turned them on a little bit. So yeah, going into the night, like I said, I'm just going to concentrate on them 2 spots. Probably rest the swim again. I think that was a sort of bonus yesterday, if so to speak. Just to rest it out, let the fish come back in, get on that bit of bait. I've not put a lot of bait out either, probably 6-7 spoms on the 18, and that one, where I've obviously lost one and had one from, it's just literally a cup in the baiting spoon. So yeah, bait wise I've not overkilled it, which I have done in the past. So I thought just little and often, and just sort of go for a fish at a time, really. That's my plan. Yeah, so on the positive side, Marky Boy, who is in the corner swim, he's had Nigel's fish this morning as well, at 39, and that's his PB, so he's made up with that one. Will, who's in pipes, he's had a 27, and I think he's lost 2. I think George, his name is, he's in bailiffs, he's had a small one out of there. There's a lad in 19, Rod, he's had 1, I think, as well. And I think the lads on the island, I think they've lost 1 or 2. So all around the lake, there's fish coming out, or getting done with it, sort of thing. So yeah, so it's going to be it's a good session. We've got till Sunday morning, so I've still got a couple more bite times to go through. So hopefully I'll have a bit more to show you. But yeah, what I might do later on, obviously I've not done this before, but I might show you exactly how I tie these rigs. You probably know anyway. But I'll just show you what I do. Yeah, and I'll show you that later. But if I don't speak to you after this, I will catch up with you in the morning. Well, started to doubt myself. Bloke in the swim before me's had 10 fish and I'm struggling on 2. But yeah, just as I'm doubting, I managed to catch this one. 37.5 pound, absolute pelter. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing. A couple of spoms this morning, just topping up the spot. And she's away, mid-morning. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Nice one. Right, well, what an exciting morning that just been. Obviously last night I didn't catch anything myself. It was a different night altogether, to be fair. So we got them out, but the fish weren't boshing and showing, and I didn't hear anything in the night, if I'm honest. But all counts that the fish had moved to the opposite end of the lake, and George, who's in bailiffs, he had 37. A couple of the other lads on this left hand side, I think 14, peg 14, that sort of area, they managed to sort of snare. I think actually Dan might be in 14. He moved from left of pipes, seen some fish showing. He's now had 3. I'm not too sure of the weights, but I'll sort of find out them and sort of tell you all later. Yeah, and I'd seen a fish sort of blowing up in this sort of peg 1, and no one's had lines in there this morning, so I made a decision after redoing them first light anyway, because that seemed to have been what was working. Sort of casting them out a few spots first light, cleans the line for the algae and the fish come in for the feed. But I'd seen that and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. So I brought these in, went round to peg 1, put a pole out straight on top of the phase. Nice, I got a drop as well, which I was chuffed about. Yeah, and thought I'll sit it here for the morning, see what happens. And then I got the phone call from my mate Will. He said he's got one weeded up, can I give him a hand on the boat? And what do mates do? Well, you had to do it in, so I sculled it in, quickly ran round there, got in the boat with him, mission, mad boat battle. We eventually got it through the weed, got it into the net, and yeah, it was a proper old dinosaur. 37.5 pound, we got it back in, and yeah, I'll let Willie do all the talking after. But yeah, it's absolutely made up for him. So everyone realistically is doing really well. Like I said before, Mark ended up having Nigers as well at 39 from this corner. I think he's had another 2 now, only smallish ones. But all in all, everyone around the lake is having a chance. So I think now with obviously Will catching that, like I say, March just had one, Jack had one as well. And so it feels like the fish are now moving back up the lake. So yeah, I'm quite positive again now. I've got them back on. Seems the daytime bites and nighttime bites, so it's not really a specific bite time to sort of like work your fishing around. You just got to be in it to win it kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm going to get these, I've got these back out now anyway. I'm going to chill out for the rest of the day, and then once I get all the catch reports of the lads around the lake, I'll just sort of go through everything again and try and get the pictures from them and show you guys. But yeah, it's been a great session. We've got one more night to go. We've got to be off early in the morning at 8:30, but no one can complain with this session. It's been absolutely amazing. So I'll catch up with you later. Right guys, well I thought I'd take this time. I said before, like I'd just probably go through the Needle rig, how I tie it. It's not much different than probably what you see anyway, but I thought I'd go through it anyway.
So I've got the 20-pound end trap semi-stiff, so I just sort of take a little bit off, and then on my board there I've got about 5 inches. So I get my pliers on my strippers, take 5 inches of the coded braided off, strip it back. At the very end then, so you got that little bit stripped, simply make my hair with an overtone loop. It's a bit fiddly sometimes, but hey ho. So once you're happy with that, pull that down. Okay, my little tag end, I just neaten up. Okay, so you're left with that. Now, I'll sort of cut that off there now, that's just over 12 inches, so I snip that off. So I get my ring my ring for the hook. I'm going to tie that on to this ring. What I normally do is have it probably about an inch, something like that. So I sort of fold it over for about an inch. Again, just a quick overturn, like granny knot I suppose it's called, like so. Then I use a straight-eyed size 4 wide gate from Thinking Anglers, and literally purely they're really sharp, straight out of the packet, so I don't need to home them anyway. So I'll go through the ring, and then make sure it's nice and straight, put it back through there like that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just turn it ever so slightly to one side of the hook, and then obviously when the knot turns, it keeps it nice and straight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I go back through, and then pull it tight. Make sure that's all nice and straight. Forgot to mention that also I always have the ring pretty much level with the barb, so it can, for the blowback purposes. I get my shrink tube. I want to cut it pretty much dead in half, so again I like to cut things dead on. So bang on my board, it's just over an inch. So you feed that over, and it covers the knot, like so. Then you want to get your Thinking Anglers, or any really tungsten bead, shall we say. And basically, if I can undo that there, feed that through, wet it a little bit and slide it on. You can adjust the length of it where you want after. And then I get the anti-tangle sleeve, feed that through, again out the way. And that, some people put a loop on this. I don't. I just tend to use a D ring. Feed that through, like so. Now what I tend to do now, depending on your length, I sort of set this up so it's 6.5 inches to the eye, to where I'm pinching the ring, sort of there, so kind of thing. So it allows for me, when it obviously extends, it should finish about 7.5 inches. So I just do a full 4 turn knot on there. Make sure you wet it, and then just ease them down nice and slowly. Don't want to make any damage to the line. And get my other one now, and let's just ease and pull them so you're happy with it. And once you're happy with everything bedded in, just snip that off like so. Pull that over, and that will go over my quick change link on my leader. Now all we need to do now is you boil the kettle, dip it into the water like that, leave it for a couple of seconds, and then when it comes back out, you hold, easy for me to do, you hold the point of the hook onto your knuckle, and the bend is like that, so that forms, you can see that, that will form your bend when it cools down. Blow on it and that gives you the aggressive curve. So yes, that's basically how I tie them. I hope that helps. Like I say, it's working this session. Yeah, I've been properly nailed. So like I said, I'll tie a few more up now. Probably going to rest the swim for a little bit now, like I did yesterday. Get everything wrapped up, ready to go. And again, probably a little bit more baiting, just on the 18 one, not so much the spoon one, just the 18, probably a couple more spods. And then yeah, give it a couple of hours then, because the fish are on the top now, you can see them mooch around, so they are still in the area. So yeah, that's what my plan is now. So then when I come back later on, quick plop plop, set that margin one up, and I'm down for the night. So they've had a nice little free rein, no lines in the water. Yeah, and let's just stick what we know. Alright, so hopefully I'll have something to show you in the morning. Right, well, morning. I think we're pretty much done and dusted now over at the session at Sandhurst. It's been one of them sessions where all the boys have dug in deep and done well, really. I've had to write a couple of bits and pieces down. I think we've had 25 fish in total, and I think the lads have lost, well, between us we've lost like 7. So going with Willie, I think he's had 24 and 18 and 37, and he's lost a couple. Lads on the island, I think they lost 2, but I think they were only little smallish ones, so up to £6, might be mistaken on that one. George in Bayliss, he's ripped it up completely. He's had an 18, 37, a 23, a 35 and a 29. Roddy was in Ireland, he's had a 24 and a 19. Dan, who was in left pipes, he moved over, I think it was 14 area, down that far end where we've seen him boshing. As soon as he went in there, yeah, he's had 4, biggest being 26 or 20, no, he got up to 26, and then I think he had a 32 as well. Matthew, he's had 1, I'm not too sure what size of that one was. Andy, he's had 2. Jack, who's in 12, he managed to get 1 out. Mark, who's done an amazing job in the corner swim just to my left, he had Nigers at 39, he's had a 30, and I think a little one, I think around about 18. And obviously myself lost that one the first sort of night. Yeah, and then the next night I had that 32 off the same spot, and the same, just probably what, an hour, not even surely after that, I had that £20 too. So yeah, it's just been an amazing session. Like I say, we're coming back in May, and all the boys are just really geared up for that now and can't wait to come back. So yeah, so I sort of thanks for watching this short little diary piece. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the bank sometime.